This time we'll talk about applying properties of a well-written text. It is said that the organization of ideas is invariably one of the aspects in writing, in which it is often highly valued. A well-organized piece of writing is not only clear, but also logical and aesthetic. What are the properties of a well-written text? We have we have the organization, cohesion and coherence, language use, and mechanics. Starting with the organization. Organization refers to the arrangement of ideas in a text. You can easily follow good organization when you create an outline of your ideas before you start writing. Strong organization constitutes proper paragraphing and logical order of presentation of ideas. So in organization, it tells us to plan first before you do the actual writing. You have to lay all your information for you to identify which should be focused and for you to fix and to arrange the ideas chronologically from the most important to the least important. Under organization is paragraphing. Paragraphing helps us organize ideas to make the paragraph reader friendly. Break up the massive words and use appropriate signals to make a new point. In paragraphing, we're setting boundaries from an idea to another idea, from one concept to another concept, but still they are related to one another and still sticking to our main topic or main focus. And here are the basic tips on how to write a well organized paragraph. First, each paragraph must be built around a single idea termed as the controlling idea. We will only have our main focus or one main topic. Next, create a topic sentence which is generally written as opening sentence of the paragraph. This will turn our introduction. Then, an appropriate technique from a variety of ways of developing a paragraph must be employed to develop the topic sentence or the key idea. So it depends on you and how you will write or what technique are you going to use. Is it narration, description, illustration, and etc. And finally, in order to achieve unity, appropriate connectiveness between and within paragraphs must be used. So make sure that your ideas within the paragraph is still connected and still have the unity to make it compact and solid. The second property of a well-written text is coherence and cohesion. These are the two basic features that facilitate textual continuity. The terms are used in discourse analysis to describe the properties of a text. When we say coherence, it refers to the unity of ideas, sentences, and paragraphs in a text, while the cohesion refers to the connection of ideas at the sentence level, or in other words, the grammatical aspects of writing. And here is to further elaborate the difference of the two. In coherence, it mainly deals with logic and appropriate organization of the sentences to form meaningful and understandable content. While in cohesion, it focuses more on the lexical syntax and grammar in the sentence formation. In coherence, it is more qualitative property, while the cohesion is the quantitative property. In coherence, the attribute is decided by the reader, for she or he will determine if the content is being meaningful, is it being understanding, logical, and useful. While in cohesion, the attribute will be decided by the writer, in which it is brought by using different techniques like repeated words or ideas, reference words, transition signals, substitution, and etc. In short, in coherence, it is more of the content. Is it being senseful? Is it being useful? Does it make sense to the reader? And it is more of the message. And then the cohesion will only focus and more deal on the grammatical structure or physical structure of the content, how it is written by the writer. So that's coherence and cohesion. Let's now proceed to the third property of a well-written text. This refers to the acceptable writing style for a particular form of text. As a writer, it is important not only to think what you will say, but how you will say it. To communicate effectively, it is not enough to have well-organized ideas, expressed in the complete and coherent sentences and paragraphs, because appropriate language increases one's credibility, strengthens his argument, and keeps his confidence. There are different aspects that we need to consider in using appropriate language. We have levels of formality, in-group jargon, slang and idiomatic expressions, deceitful language and euphemisms, and a biased language. When we say levels of formality, it is when you are writing in a style that fits to your purpose and that fits to the expectation of your audience. Knowing your purpose and knowing who are your audience is the key to successful writing. In group jargon, when we say jargon, it refers to the specialized language or words that are used by a group that are similar or like-minded individuals. So you have to only use those jargons if you're going to write for a member of that group or for that group. Slang and idiomatic expression. Avoid using slang or idiomatic expressions in general academic writing. In academic, you need to be in formal writing. Formal writing. We have the deceitful language and euphemisms. Avoid using so much euphemisms. For example, the collateral damage for the unintended destructions of civilians and their property. Sometimes these euphemisms are already inappropriate. So you have to choose and limit the euphemism and most especially avoid using the deceitful language, which are harmful or offensive. Last is the biased language. Avoid using biased language that is or that includes language with racial, ethnic, and or gender bias. Also the stereotypical language. There are six characteristics of effective language. We have the concrete and specific language, concise language, familiar language, precise and clear language, constructive language, and the formality of language. Concrete and specific language is when it includes descriptions which create tangible informations or tangible images with details that the reader can visualize. Abstract language is vague and obscure and does not bring to mind specific visual images. So you have to be concrete and specific with your words for you to be able to make your readers imagine what you want them to imagine. Concise language. A hallmark of an effective writer is the ability to express their desired message in just few words as possible, as much as possible. So you're being direct to the point, telling what you feel, what you want to express in just a brief but is effective message. We have the familiar language. Familiar language is that which the readers easily recognize and understand because they use it on a regular basis. One of the most important functions of language is to build homophily or a sense of commonality with one's reader. Being familiar with that language because they're used to it, they're using it on their daily basis. Familiarity, as the name implies, familiarity. Next is the precise and clear language. Precise and clear language is the use of appropriate language that is maybe or that is a tricky matter because the meaning of words is relative and situational. This implies that the words can be interpreted in different ways by different people in different situations. You may be misinterpreted by different people, by a different audience. We also have the constructive language. Constructive language is the phrases or are the phrases that are potentially negative message in a positive way, whereas destructive language directs blame and criticisms toward the reader, creating defensiveness. Right? So we're targeting negative message. We are delivering negative message, but in a positive way. We're being defensive in a way that we're not doing offensive. Next is the formality, or at last is the formality of language. Formality of language is when one uses should match the formality of the situation and the relationship between the writer and the reader. So it is like being formal to your reader as you want to make an authority or you want to be equal to them. That is formality of language. And at the mechanics. Mechanics describes the technical aspects of writing. It refers to the conventions of writing such as capitalization, punctuation, correct spelling and numerals, abbreviations, acronyms and constructions, and this element is an important or as important as well as develop storylines. So it is very important the mechanics on how you will write your thoughts, how will write the words. For example, the sentences or the errors below. I adore my sister. China Lei, for she is a good lawyer in Canada. What are the errors here? I is written in a lowercase, which should be in uppercase or caps lock. China is a proper noun, which should be in a uppercase or big letters. And the lawyer, which is just a common noun, should be in a lowercase. And last is the Canada, which is also supposed to be in the should have the uppercase for C, for it pertains a country. My favorite food are lasagna, pizza, and French fries. So the spelling here, favorite, there's a hyphen and E, which is supposed to be just one word without hyphen. And the sentence should start in the uppercase or the big letters, capital letters, my. Right? So that is the mechanics. It pertains to the capitalization, punctuation, correct spelling, and numerals, and etc. The grammar structures. So that will be today. I hope you learned and understand our topic for this video lesson. Thank you for watching. You have a good day and keep safe. Bye now.